Hey, good morning, everyone. Morning warm up. Many of us want wealth. We want long term wealth, but we have a misunderstanding about it. And there's two books that I'm going to recommend to you that I think you should read. They're by the author Morgan House. The first one's called Same as Ever, it's his newest one. And the other one's called The Psychology of Money. And there's a lot of great things that come out of that book, but a couple things that I just wanted to point out. Warren Buffett made the majority of his wealth, 90% of his wealth, after he was 60 years old, because he learned how to invest and he understood compounding interest and appreciating assets, right? If you think about a lot of Warren Buffett's wealth was created by real estate because it's an appreciating asset. And I think that the challenge we have is that it's too simple, right? So you get an average return, but an average return compounded over time gives you an above average return. And so in this book, they talk about this. But here's a simple process, and I think it's not flashy enough, it's not crazy, but there's people that want wealth. Well, we live in a world of instant gratification, meaning we want everything quickly. I want to get rich quick, I want to do this. The other problem is we have an envy problem, and our envy problem is we want to be richer than our neighbor. We want to be, we have to up the Joneses. And so here's a simple concept that Morgan talks about in his book, and I'm just going to map it out for you. And it's three things. And if you follow these three things, and by the way, for those of you who are young listening to this right now, if you are a younger individual, start doing these things now. Don't wait. I'm older, but you know what? It still works. But here we go. Number one, spending less than you make. Very simple. Spend less than you make. Number two, save the difference always. Right? So if you spend less than you make, whatever that difference is, save it. And last but not least, be patient and stick with it. Because there's this great thing called compounding interest. If I said to you, and it's great, Morgan said this in the podcast I was listening to, if I said, do you know what 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 is? That's pretty easy for your brain to figure out. But if I said, what's 8 times 8 times 8 times 8? Now I know some of you are probably mathematicians and can figure it out, but it's more complex. Folks, that's compounding interest. Would you want me to give you $1 million, or would you want me to give you a penny a day, but every day I doubled it? I want you to leverage compound interest. It's very, very key. And then the last thing that he said in there, wealth is not earning more money. That's not what wealth is. Wealth is compounding what you make over time. So read the books, Same as Ever. That's one of the books. The other one is The Psychology of Money. I'll put a link to at least one of his books in this warm-up so you can grab that book and start reading it. But folks, if you want to have true wealth, you got to not try to beat the Joneses. You got to ask yourself, am I willing to spend less than I make? Am I willing to invest the difference? And am I willing to stick with it? All right, everybody, hey, make it a great day. Be awesome. Help somebody. We'll talk to you later.